on the fight with Teofimo Lopez and Steve Clagget. Who the hell is Steve Clagget? Who the hell is Steve Clagget? Anyway, I'm not gonna bash him the way most people will, but I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I saw the fight with Steve Clagget versus Teofimo Lopez. Oh gosh, I am tired of boxing, man. I'm about to just throw the towel on boxing because boxing is so corrupt and it's all about marketing and promoting big money fights and just all about big money fights and saving the fighter from getting another loss. It's all about the undefeated record. And the thing with Teofimo Lopez, they're trying to make sure that they protect the brand and they keep him fighting safe fighters before he gets a real big fight. Like that's what they did with Clagget intentionally. That's what Teofimo Lopez intentionally picked Steve Clagget, him and his promoters, which he loves to be dictated by the promoters. He acts like he's a boss, but he's not. He loves the fact that Top Rank is protecting him, so that way they can make his career longer. And that's the way boxing is now. So, yeah, he likes the fact that he's able to fight a Steve Clagget, and he promotes Steve Clagget and gives him credit like he's Rocky, like he's from the movie Rocky. Like, these guys, they come to fight, and we take all comers. He does not take all comers. If he took all comers, he would get the rematch with Kambosos. Well, Kambosos is a bum. He lost to somebody that's mediocre because the guy was not, he lost to Devin Haney twice in Australia. He's not what he was hyped up to be. He was just a creation of Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez never got the rematch and avenged his loss. And I feel like he's calculating his moves now because he knows in his last three performances he did not look good. So Steve Clagget is another way for him to avoid getting a loss. And if you look at that fight, I watched the fight. They did not give Steve Clagget any credit for landing punches, clear punches on Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was not a defensive wizard. He looked nice the way he moves, but he's not elusive. He doesn't get away from the combinations. Steve Clagget was able to land jabs, hooks, and even get close to him and smother him, and didn't give him any room to move. He moves with angles really nice, Teofimo Lopez, but he's not elusive. He's not elusive at all. Like he has the movement, but it's not effective the way he should be effective with that movement. Like we're using the angles. Like if you're using angles like that and you're boxing, it doesn't look pretty when you're getting hit left and right. He won the fight. I'm not saying he lost the fight. He won almost all the rounds. But he didn't look good doing it because he was not flawless. I'm not saying that he has to be perfect, but fighters like Pernell Whitaker, Mayweather, they were able to look flawless in a lot of their fights. And they were not flawless, but almost flawless. You know what I mean? And Teofimo Lopez didn't even come close to that. Like, he's supposed to get rid of Clagget. He's supposed to knock him out. Clagget's not even on his level. Clagget has a loss to Alberto Machado, a Puerto Rican fighter that didn't last too long. He had chin problems, but he only did good for a little while until somebody really landed on his chin. And the Mexican fighter, I forgot his name, but he had 7 losses on his record. Now he has 8. Steve Clagget has 8 losses. This is the problem. This is the problem with boxing. It's okay to get a gimme fight, an easy fight, but he's not even active enough to get an easy fight. Well, that's probably why he's doing it, because he's not active. And he feels like, well, let me just get an easy fight. But come on, everything is about big, huge fights, but you don't have a consistent career. If you're good and you're great, or the way you say you are, you shouldn't be getting hit by Steve Clagget. Steve Clagget is landing all those shots on you. You beat him clearly, but you didn't look superb. You didn't look dominant. You didn't look dominant. You just beat him. It's like you were sparring with him, and you got the upper hand in the fight, but you still got hit a lot. If you fight Tank Davis, if Teofimo Lopez fights Tank Davis, he's gonna get knocked out. He's gonna get knocked out. Tank Davis, he beat Frank Martin. I give Tank Davis credit, but he hasn't fought anybody either. Tank Davis hasn't fought somebody at an elite level like him. I still think that Shakur Stevenson would beat Tank Davis. But Tank Davis does have a good enough skill set to actually compete with Shakur Stevenson. But I don't know how dominant Shakur Stevenson is going to be against Tank Davis, because he has the equalizer. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? Hello, what's good? You know how we do it. And Teofimo Lopez, he says he's from Brooklyn. He ain't from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Marlboro Projects. But you know what? He moved out of Brooklyn when he was 5 years old. How you gonna say you're from Brooklyn? Look, he might have a little bit of a New York swag because his father lived in New York longer than him. His father lived in Brooklyn longer than him. I can't. Look, his father lived in Brooklyn longer than Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez from Florida. Teofimo Lopez, you were faking the funk, man. Like, you hate Boricuas. I don't know what you got against Boricuas, but they must have bullied you when you was a kid in Florida, because there's plenty of Boricuas in Florida. So they must have bullied him. Or Boricua probably took his girl. I don't know what the problem he has with Boricua. He was talking all that smack about the Puerto Ricans are easy. He takes easy fights, man. He takes easy fights, and he still doesn't look dominant. That fight that he had last night with Steve Clagget. Who is Steve Clagget? No one knows who he is. Oh, now all of a sudden we got to respect Steve Clagget because Teofimo Lopez gave him some credit to make himself look bigger than what he really is? Come on. Man. Make Puerto Rico great again. Anyway, we're not going to get into politics. Steve Clagget is not a deserving fighter. He did look good at times when he was, throwing combination. He landed a lot on Teofimo Lopez last night. Teofimo Lopez was not the dominant, superior fighter that he claims to be. If he looks like that against any elite fighter, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, and even Frank Martin, he will lose. Even Subriel Matias. But let me tell you about Subriel Matias. Because a lot of people, they don't like certain things that I said about Subriel Matias. They say I'm looking for excuses. But if you analyze everything, if you put all the pieces to the puzzle together, you're going to see that there was something fishy about that fight. Because before he lost the fight, there was an interview in Spanish that Marco Antonio Barrera interviewed him, un round más, and he asked Subriel Matias about his career, and then Subriel Matias was saying that he already spoke to his promoters that he was going to retire because there's certain things that he don't like about his boxing career that he don't have control over, and there's a lot of stuff that he'd rather not say, but he said that he doesn't like the fact that he has no control over his career. So meaning that they told him that he couldn't win against Leon Paro because against Leon Paro, he was the one that was signed for a long-term contract and Subriel was signed for a multi-fight deal. So that shows me that there was some fishy stuff because he was alluding and bringing hints in previous interviews before he even fought Leon Paro, saying that he was going to retire early because there's a lot of stuff in boxing that's going on behind the scenes that he'd rather not discuss, that he doesn't agree with, because he likes to have control over his career, but he has no control over what he does in his career because they're going to determine and dictate, the powers that be are going to dictate what he does with his career and what he does not do with his career. So boxing is politics. That's the thing. I have a love and hate relationship with boxing. Right now, I hate boxing. I hate it because there's so much corruption. Felix Trinidad never sold out. He never did that. I'm not gonna go and say that Subriel Matias sold out, but it doesn't sound like he didn't sold out. He was drinking before the fight, and my conclusion is that he partied and drank before the fight because he already knew that his promoter had told him that he has to lose this fight with Leon Paro because he signed Leon Paro to a long-term deal. So then Subriel Matias probably said, I don't care, I'm gonna lose anyway. So he drank the night before and partied. That makes sense. That makes sense if you analyze everything that's going on behind the scenes. And there's people content creators that actually alluded to this fact that actually close to Subriel Matias, and he has proof that they are close sources to Subriel Matias, and they know Subriel Matias, and they actually told him this boxing content creator, which I respect very highly, offensive stance. Yeah. So yeah, salute. Yeah, salute, brother. Front line. Yeah, what's up, front line? I appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Click like, comments. The people that support me and the people that go against me, I got love for all of you, because at the end of the day, you make my channel what it is. You make it more blossoming. So I give credit to everybody, the haters and the people that love me. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. You know, I've never been anyone to sugarcoat anything. And people may say things like, "Oh, he's sugarcoating it. He's not giving Liam Pato the credit." It's not that I'm not giving him the credit. I don't think Liam Pato's as good as they're trying to make him look. Subriel Matias is better than him. I just think Subriel Matias had to deal with the politics behind the scenes. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna show you the video that actually alludes to this fact. Let me show you. Let me zoom in. Let me get some good criteria over here. Oh, now the computer's acting up. It's all good. You're gonna get the truth on my channel. Look, this is what happened. He alluded to the fact that there was a lot of stuff that he's not in control of in his career. He alluded to that fact. And this is the interview. Listen to the interview, and I'll translate it. Oh, it wants to act up now. We're gonna get the truth over here.
Planificado tú. Sí, sí. Y hay cosas que yo no estoy de acuerdo.
Yeah.
¿Cómo qué? Cosas internas.
Internas.
Sí.
Contigo mismo, que dices.
Sí.
Yo creo que hice esto, hasta aquí está bien. Como que ya planificando tu vida,
Sí, sí.
lejos del boxeo y lo que quieres hacer como calidad de vida y tiempo con tu familia.
Y no quiero que el boxeo me retire. ¿Sabes? Si no, yo...
Oh, all of a sudden, it's not the Wi-Fi's bad. Why is that? Because I'm telling the truth? Is that what it is?
Creo que tengo una hermosa familia que me espera.
Claro.
3 niñas que espero en Dios ponerle mano dura para que no se me descarrilen y disfrutar un poco de la vida antes de que Dios obre en mí.
35 años. ¿Sabías que Márquez se retiró a los 42? Manny Pacquiao va a pelear a los 45.
Wow.
Yo me retiré a los 37. Y a los 35 creo que todavía tienes la energía y las ganas de...
Eso...
Pero ya lo tienes planificado tú.
Sí, sí. Y hay cosas que yo no estoy de acuerdo.
¿Cómo qué?
Cosas internas.
Internas.
Sí.
Contigo mismo, que dices.
Sí.
Yo creo que hice esto hasta...
That's the thing. There's a lot of internal stuff that he couldn't elaborate on that makes him want to retire early. That's what he said. And if you put 2 and 2 together, because he said that I'm not in control of my career, and I don't like that. I like to be in control of my career. So the powers that be are in control of your career. Yeah, Roberto Clemente. Yup, that's right. All the real ones. Those are the ones I support. So he basically was alluding to, like, he has to retire early, but he didn't want to specify why. But he did hint that he don't like the fact that he has no control over his career, and he feels like like that's not the way he likes to be. He likes to be in control and do whatever he feels he can do. But they're not going to let him do certain things because it's boxing politics. So he alluded to that in that interview. If you could check it out and on your own time, Un Round Mas, with Subriel Matias and Marco Antonio Barrera, you can check that out later. And you can see for yourself that he alluded to there was a lot of stuff that he does not agree with in boxing. That's why he wants to retire because boxing is corrupt and they don't let you do what you want to do. And that's not how he is. He's a man that likes to do what he wants to do, have that freedom. But in the boxing world, the powers that be, they're not going to let you have that freedom. So that's why I know that Subriel Matias, the one that fought Liam Pato, that was not the real Subriel Matias. he had to like bow down to the powers that be and take a loss because they probably paid him more money, and they wanted the Liam Faro to be the one that wins because he had the long-term contract, and Subriel Matias had the multiple fight deal contract, which wasn't a long contract. It was politics. But anyway, back to Teofimo. Teofimo Lopez, I used to be a fan of his, but when he didn't avenge his loss with Kambosos, I just saw him as a trick. I saw him as he's not the real deal. All the greats avenge their losses, all of them. So if you didn't avenge your loss and did like Miguel Cotto did, and I say Felix Trinidad retired, like the reason why he didn't avenge his loss with Bernard Hopkins, because Bernard Hopkins refused to give him the rematch. He didn't want to give him the rematch, and Felix Trinidad's reasons were that since the 9/11 attacks, he couldn't go back to Puerto Rico and train, and he didn't have the same intensity that if the fight was earlier, on September 11, which was originally the date, and they changed it because of the 9/11 attacks, he was already in physical peak form in the original date to fight. But since they had to postpone it, he couldn't go back to Puerto Rico to get that physical peak again. And Bernard Hopkins was able to go to Philadelphia, right? No problem, because New York and Philadelphia is right there. So he wanted the rematch. Felix Trinidad wanted the rematch with Bernard Hopkins, but Bernard Hopkins refused to give him the rematch. And I believe that it's possible. That is possible. The reason why he lost. I'm not saying that is, but it is possible. And you gotta understand, Bernard Hopkins was naturally a 160 pounder his whole career. So that's the reason. Agree, up there in age, I will also take the money. Oh yeah, like those are possibilities, man. Those are real, sensible possibilities. There's another issue I have. Okay, there's a lot of comments over here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Click like. I appreciate the love. The hate, I try to keep it drama free because I'm about peace, love, and unity and truth. You know what I mean? So I call a spade, and sometimes most people don't like that truth. They don't like it. They don't embrace it. They don't want the overflow of God. You know what I mean? They don't want the overflow of God. God's love is immeasurable. God's truth is immeasurable. God's knowledge is immeasurable. You can't even measure his knowledge and his love and his truth. So yeah, let me get back into boxing. So yeah, I don't like the politics in boxing. I feel like boxing is not the way it used to be in the 90s, where boxing was more consistent. The greats used to fight the greats, and it was about you beating the best and losing to the best. So if you lose your O, there's no shame in your game if you lose to another great. That's part of boxing. But now it's about, I gotta keep my O, like because Mayweather messed up boxing. He did. Because now it's watered down. Now boxing is not like it used to be. It's watered down. Now people want to protect their O and want to fight the easier fights, so they don't have to risk their career. Because a lot of times when you get a loss nowadays, it's like a setback. It's a setback now, but it shouldn't be. If you're losing to the best, and then you like Muhammad Ali lost to the best. All the great ones, George Foreman, all the greats have lost. Pernell Whitaker, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, Ike Quartet, Zuma Nelson, all the greats have lost to somebody else great. Hector Camacho, I can't forget Hector Camacho. Juan Laporte. There's a lot of people that back then they lost, but then they continue their career, because as long as you lose to somebody that's an elite fighter, there's no shame in that. But nowadays, if you lose, there's a big career setback. But it shouldn't be like that. To got hit by many jabs, Matias would feast because to keep his head on center line. Trinidad was the greatest welterweight at 140 to 147. Nobody was going to get him beat. That's right. Nobody was going to beat him. Felix Tito Trinidad was the most, he defended his belt, I believe, 15 times, his welterweight championship. And how many welterweight champions defend their belts that many times now? I don't even think Errol Spence did that. I think Errol Spence defended his belt 7 times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's somewhere around that number. Clagget is 35 and was hardly hurt. He didn't even knock out Clagget. You know what he's doing? He's holding on to whatever's left of his career, Teofimo Lopez, because he knows he don't got it no more. He already looked really bad in his last 3 fights, and then in this fight, recent fight with Clagget, he didn't look like superb and superior. He won the fight clearly, but he got hit so much that he didn't look like he was way ahead of this guy. Like he should have dominated this guy completely and knocked him out and got him out of there. But he didn't do that. I feel like he's just holding on to whatever's left in his career, and that's why he's calling out the big names like Crawford when he don't even deserve to fight a Crawford. Crawford's an elite fighter that still got it. He's getting older, so he's probably banking on that. That Crawford is like 36 years old. But what about the young fighters? What about the young fighters like Tank David? What about Subriel Matias? I know Subriel Matias got to rebuild again. He got to rebuild again, but I just don't like the politics, So I just feel like it's set up a certain way when it comes to money and business. The corporations and the corporate aspect of boxing takes control. It's messed up that it has to be corrupt like that, but that's the way it is. Yeah, salute, Coqui, salute. One love, Boricua, So yeah, I'm really like just letting you know like how I feel about the game, the boxing game. Like, I'm still gonna do the content because I feel like I still love boxing, but there's a lot of boxing I don't love. The politics of it, the corruption, the game, the boxing game is very dirty. So I don't like that aspect of it. Elvis got exposed. Yeah, I wasn't too big on Elvis Rodriguez, but I see what you're saying. Like, it's like, they make the fighters superstars right away without even fighting anybody. That's another thing. I think William Cepeda beats Teo and Tank and Pitbull. I mean, William Cepeda's good. He's just a little slow, but William Cepeda is good. I just have to see more from him. I think he's slow, but he can give Teofimo Lopez trouble. He can. He can definitely do that. Pitbull Cruz, I think he will give him a little bit of trouble, but I think Pitbull Cruz will win. I think he will win that fight. Pitbull Cruz is pretty solid, but I'm not saying he's great or he don't have no special effects. But yeah, William Cepeda is nice. He has a good heart. He's a good volume puncher. I don't think he has one punch power, knockout power, but he throws a lot of volumes and he can hurt somebody. Matias should fight Michel Rivera next. I really don't want to talk about Subriel Matias right now. I'm so upset that he lost. I'm so disillusioned. I'm so pissed that he lost. How could he lose in Puerto Rico? Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's dealing with behind the scenes, but there's a lot of stuff he's dealing with behind the scenes that we don't see, but it goes on. Trust me, it goes on. If it was me, I would have been like, you know what? I'm not taking that money. I'm fighting for my people. I'm going to represent. I'm not going to take a loss. I'm not going to drink. No, I know you signed me for a long-term deal. You signed me for a multi-fight deal, but no, I'm not going to do it unless they try to kill me. They're like, oh, are they going to kill me? Like, I don't know how serious it is, but when it comes to money, it could get serious. Trust me. When it comes to money, some things are serious and not fun. So it could be a lot of life-threatening stuff too. Because when it comes to money, you're affecting people's wallets. It affects people's emotions, especially promoters and people with money. It's like politics. When it comes to politics, there's a lot of dirty stuff going on behind the scenes that they legalize. It's legal for them to do, but for people that are poor, it's a crime when we do it. So there's a lot of stuff that rich, elite people get away with that poor people try to do the same thing. They get criminalized because that's the way the system is. And let's make Puerto Rico great again. Yeah. Check out my music on all major platforms. Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, all major platforms. Yes. Check out my music. Tony also. I got a new album called The Essence of Who I Am. It's going to have a lot of Afro beats, house music, R&B, soulful, real stuff, and dedicating some songs to my mother who passed away. And I'm honoring her because she's the essence of who I am. She taught me to be real and honest and always say things for what they are. Yes. So if you want to check out my music, you could go to YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, all major platforms. Stay tuned. Subscribe. My channel is for you guys. I dedicate this to you. You guys are the reason why I do it. Yeah, nothing happened to Matias. Something happened to Matias. He came to spar. He was friendly and he hurt Peril 6 times, but didn't push the pressure. Para was clinching and getting away with rabbit punching. That's true. That's facts. I saw that. I saw it. there was a little bit of home cooking going on in Puerto Rico, but it didn't work. But there was also home cooking, not home cooking, but politics with Eddie Hearns going on as well. So there's a lot of powers there at play. So, you know, they try to do whatever they can to outwit the other when it comes to top powers. But when it came to top powers, Eddie Hearns, he had more money. So that's why he was able to make sure that Subriel Matias wasn't the one that wins. And I don't know what was discussed with Subriel, but there was something going on. That was not the Subriel that we know, that throws 100 punches. And that was politics, for sure. That was dirty. That smells dirty. If you analyze everything, you know, you got 5 senses, you know that there's something fishy and corrupt about that. I'm friends with Richard Colon and his family. Rabbit punches are dangerous. I wish Matias fouled Parrow. Yeah, man. If you foul me, I'm going to foul you right back. Yeah, Parrow was fighting dirty. He was fighting rabbit punches. Like, I don't condone that. If it would have been fair and square, and because we know the game, we know how a boxer is, you know, there's a lot of pressure, you know, fighting in Puerto Rico, but at the same time, it just didn't seem like it was, things didn't add up the way he came out like that. It didn't add up. And then I heard from other sources, and I put 2 and 2 together, and there was something that he did before the fight. He partied and drank. But yeah, Teofimo Lopez did not impress me. I think if he fights that way with Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson or even Subriel Matias, but the thing is, they're not going to let Subriel Matias do what he wants. That's what it seems like. That's what he hinted at in the interview in Spanish, if you check it out. But yeah, Matias threw like 40 punches in 30 rounds, something in 3 rounds. Something didn't seem right. Yeah, man, he don't fight like that. And it wasn't like this guy was special, Liam Fowler. Like he didn't do much. He really didn't hurt Subriel Matias. So I don't see why Subriel Matias would throw less. It didn't make no sense. But anyway, I think my time is up right now. But subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. Click love, comment. I appreciate all the love, but I'm gonna keep it real as always. But Teofimo Lopez is not what we think he is or what he's trying to lead us to believe. He's gonna get knocked out by anybody he can get knocked out at any given fight, but he's choosing the safest fights so he can get the biggest fight and retire on a high. That's what he's trying to do. We're not stupid. He's insulting the intelligence of the intelligent fans, but the fans that don't know any better, the casual fans, they're gonna believe everything he says. They're gonna believe all the recipes that he's giving out for people to believe. But check it out. My time is up. One love to everybody over here who tuned in. Coqui, Unknown, Teofimo versus, they are both free right now. September fight. Yeah, we'll see if that happens. We'll see if politics gets in the way. Hopefully he could bounce back from all this. Maybe he could. We will see. I still support Subriel Matias, but I'm so upset that it went down like that. Check out my music on all major platforms. Tony Also Knows Boxing. One love to everybody who tuned in. Subscribe to my channel. Peace. Boricua power, baby. Puerto Rico. Libre, papi.